Welcome to the Ken Hill podcast. Once again, I appreciate you taking the time to tune in. And this is sort of the first one of 2020. And as I've said before, I'm not going to put out a podcast unless I have something relevant to say. So I've got a bunch of shorter podcasts that are going to be coming out here in the next little bit. And I thought this would be really timely to kind of give an update of where I'm at with all of my stuff. Had a lot of changes happening the last 6 months or so, and there's been so much going on behind the scenes that I thought a completely separate podcast of an update was needed. So that's what this podcast is about: is what's going on with me, where I'm going, what's happening, and of course, how does that affect you? So the first part of this is that if you've tuned into any of the podcasts, is I've been involved with the RIC program for many years now, and the RIC program has been absolutely fantastic. It has just been an incredible way for people to get training. It's been a great way for me to try to keep working at the very sharp end of the sport, and let that be able to trickle down to everybody, whether they've never ridden a motorcycle or somebody that's even going to go up in the world stage. And the RIC program also had the Moto America team, and we're going to have a separate podcast on some of the things that I learned about working with race teams. I've done a podcast on what I do working with race teams, but I want to kind of make a second or updated podcast to that one. And that one's coming. But the RIC, had a race team for 3 years, and I had been going to every Moto America race for 4 years, and a lot of time on the road. And with the RIC program, a lot of changes, and the changes are simply: one, there's no Moto America race team, if you haven't heard about that, and the second one is that there's not any more RIC schools. I'm still going to ride with Adam and Josh. We have so many things that we want to accomplish with them and their own riding. And the school is essentially distracting from that. So I'm still, can't wait to work with those guys. And we just have some cool things that we're going to work with. And included with that, we're looking at doing some fun things of traveling to some epic tracks and maybe doing some things in Europe that there might be some opportunity with as well. So RIC program is still going on. It's just more of a private deal than before. So, okay, well, then how do you get access to Ken's training? How do you get access to being able to ride with me? And how do you get access to my instruction and my instructors and all that? Because yes, that's become a little bit more limited now. And so looking at that, a lot of things that I've had with my training have kind of been put out in different places. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, and nothing has sort of been in one place. And that's something that has hurt me a little bit, but that's just kind of how this industry is. And so what I decided to do was an opportunity came about for me to buy into a track day company in Washington. The company's TrackTime. And it's a really great opportunity for me to have more of a centralized hub for everything that I do. And I'll tell you some more about some of the other things that are going on with TrackTime. But the reason I bought it is because I want to be able to have a home for all the things that I do, and be able to have different opportunities available for you, the clients, and eventually we're going to branch some of those things out. So what TrackTime is really about is it's a track day company that, ironically, when Alan and JD started this, they wanted to have a track day company that was a little bit different. So they said, God, Ken, if you had a track day company, how would you do this? And I said, oh my gosh, I'd have a much smaller group size, like maybe 30 people a group. I'd charge more, and I'd offer instruction. And that's really what it's about, is we keep the run groups low, 30 people. Yeah, we charge more. Yeah, there's that whole thing about making money, needs to happen. But then we give the client the choice. If they just want to come to a track day with very few people and run around by themselves, awesome, you've got it. If you want to get half day instruction of light instruction, you've got it. You want to get a full day of instruction, and you want to get a full day of instruction with a, kind of a Ken Hill certified instructor. Boom, you got it. You want to get a day with me? Boom, you've got it. So that's what TrackTime was put together for, was just a very high quality day. We don't run a ton of days. We're not out here trying to do 45 track days a year. There's very few of them. They're all at the Ridge in Washington. And the Ridge has been fantastic about being proactive with motorcycles and motorcycle safety. And yeah, we've got the Moto America round that's coming up at the Ridge this year as well. So that's why I bought TrackTime, is to have a place that is quality track days where you can get a day if you want to ride by yourself and enjoy it, or if you want to have training. And yes, of course, there's more to it. Also, we will be doing a lot of premier events as well. So we're starting off with one premier event here at the Ridge, and the premier event is something that is very private. We're going to limit it to about 6 or 7 students. It's all one-on-one training. We're going to do car driving. So if you're interested in some of the premier events, and to be clear, they're not cheap. They're set kind of in the same vein as the Rick days were like. So they're not cheap. But you're getting one-on-one instruction with just a few people on track. So they're fantastic events as well. And the idea with that is we are going to branch that out at some point, but it's going to be more of a 2021 thing. Part of my hidden agenda with buying TrackTime is instructor training. This is sort of the thorn in my side of seeing and hearing all the instruction that's going on out there. And this is finally a place where I have a home where I can organize my Moto Pilot training program. So the Moto Pilot training program is essentially the culmination of all the things that I've been doing throughout the years and putting them together in multi-levels that can be taught literally at a parking lot for the first level, all the way up to very, very high levels. And not only do we have riding levels with very pinpointed objectives in each one of these levels, but we also have instructor training as well. So there's multi-levels of instructor training with very deliberate objectives. Each one of these objectives have drills that go along with them. So this is a very comprehensive plan that we're going to be introducing, and it's going to come out in written form. So yeah, it's not that I've been sitting around doing nothing the last few months since the last podcast. There's a lot been going on behind the scenes to get that done. So instructor training is going to become a pretty big deal with what I'm doing. Yeah, I want to be able to have a much, much wider and deeper instructor. And being able to have it in written form with clear-cut objectives that are scored, and being able to take you through this process that's, again, written out, and then the instructor can take you through that order as well. So there's a lot to that. Obviously, we're going to get into start getting into the writing part of it, and we've dove in pretty deep with that. So yeah, it's funny because we all kind of know what we're supposed to be doing, right? When we look at MotoGP, World Superbike, Moto America, we all know what we're supposed to be doing. We just don't know how to do it. And everybody wants to kind of skip to the technique, but they realize that there's a massive process to get to that technique. We know what to do, we just don't know how to do it. And there's all those things that are intertwined to enable you to be able to how to do it. It's not just the technique. It's all the different parts of being an athlete and all those different things that go along with it. So you're going to see a lot of things that are happening with instructor training, and we're going to make TrackTime the home for that. All right. So you're thinking, great, I don't want to go to Washington. How am I supposed to get training from you? How do I get access? One of the things that we've looked at for many years is online training. And online training has been tough. And I've done online training for well over 10 years. The issue with online training is that we just have not had a really good portal to be able to place our online training. And I quickly got to the point of online training. It's just the investment that it was needed to put together a program like this was well beyond any return on that investment. but we still want to have something that's accessible for you. Because it's like, okay, well, gosh, Ken, I can't spend $800 or $1,500 or $2,000 a day to get trained by you and have all this stuff going on. So what do we have that's available that makes it accessible for you to get access to my training, to my fundamentals, and to know what is good for you individually? What are your next steps? What's holding you back? And so I joined up with racers360.com. Racers360.com is the #1 online training source right now for cars, and we're bringing that to bikes. So this is a product where you can upload one of your riding videos, and there's different levels of entry on pricing on this. And you can upload your video, and you can get as quick as a very quick or 10 or 15 minute overview of, hey, here's a lap. These are the things that are holding you back. You can go to my podcast lab, get referred back to your podcast library or some of these objectives to help you with your riding that you can study to get to your next steps. Or it's even more comprehensible, which is full session analysis or even data acquisition analysis as well. We can take you all through that. But a really inexpensive, accessible way for you to be able to get training. So yeah, you kind of don't have the excuse anymore. Oh my gosh, you're too far away or you're too expensive, because now for under $100 you can basically get some training going on and find out what your next steps are. So racers360.com for online training. Yeah, it's just a great way to keep you going on next steps and develop your process of what's going on. The other things that we have are with TrackTime, because, oh my gosh, you're up in Washington, you can only ride a few months out of the year. Well, TrackTime is going to be able to be in a position to where we are going to take a lot of our training and put it at Chuckwalla in the fall and the winter. We're already doing it right now. We're already getting pretty full with the date. We're pretty full basically with the dates that we have there. But yeah, you'll be able to come into Chuckwalla. We're going to be working with Dale Kiefer, Racer's Edge. Dale puts on some days before the Chuckwalla events, and you'll be able to go there and get one-on-one training. If you need to rent a bike, we'll be able to have that, but that's not going to happen until later 2020, but it will be happening as well. So we are going to make Chuckwalla training a big part of our deal. Also, for Canadians and anybody in the US, we do have a school at Area 27 in May. So Area 27 is a fantastic track in BC, Canada. And we've got a great school up there that is basically my Moto Pilot school. So it takes you through all the objectives that go through the Moto Pilot school. Honestly, the track is worth whatever you're paying for the school. Riding the track is completely worth it. But that is May 13th and 14th that you want to take a look at. So the Area 27 school, if you can get up there, absolutely, positively do it. Amazing. All right. So that's kind of a wrap up on where I'm at with my riding and where I'm at with my training and what's going on with that. So you can still access my stuff at khcoaching.com. And with TrackTime, you can go to tracktimetd.com to find out more information. So there's your 2020 update. And I hope we're able to ride with you this year, and really would like to see you get some training this year.